Hello and welcome to Phoenix Cinema Podcast Film Club. I'm Chris Austin.
And I'm Luke Parker.
And joining us is our fellow film geek, Hannah Tavares. Hannah, welcome back.
Hi, glad to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Of course, welcome anytime. Happy to have you. So today we are gathering to discuss the movie Alien. Luke, you want to take us away?
Yes, so in Alien from 1979, the commercial spaceship Nostromo is on its return voyage to Earth when it intercepts a distress signal from a nearby planet. The crew lands to investigate and discovers a derelict alien ship filled with mysterious eggs. One of the crew members, Kane, is attacked by a creature that attaches to his face. After returning to the ship, the parasite detaches, but a deadly alien soon bursts from Kane's chest. As the creature grows, it stalks and kills the crew one by one. Warrant Officer Ellen Ripley emerges as the sole survivor, confronting the terrifying organism in a desperate bid to escape. Alien is about survival, corporate exploitation, and the unknown dangers of space, becoming a landmark film in both genres and launching a legendary cinematic franchise. I'm so glad we've got the opportunity to talk about this film.
Yeah, well, why don't you kick us off? Because you chose this film.
Yes.
So tell us about why and what's your relationship to this movie.
This is one of the most important films for me. The first time I saw this film, I was probably too young. I think I was probably 11 or 12. At a sleepover with friends, and it was like a significant moment in my life because I just thought it was the coolest thing that I'd ever seen. And even at that young age, I could appreciate it really being the amazing film that it is. And throughout the years, it's a film that I've always come back to. To be honest, I think I've seen this film every year since I've seen it. It's like a bit of a ritual for me to put this on once a year and just sit back and enjoy some fucking amazing horror sci-fi shenanigans. And we've mentioned this I don't know if we mentioned it on the podcast, but I definitely mentioned it in the film club that we do, that you can judge someone's taste on movies by how they judge the film Alien. If they think Alien is a good movie, then you can rest assured that they have a decent taste in films. Otherwise, they're not worth listening to.
Oh my God! Straight up.
I appreciate that people might not love it as much as I do, but I think it's so hard to argue for this not being one of the most technically perfect and influential sci-fi films that's just ever been made. There's so much about it that works. Even just the set design is mind-boggling, especially for something that was made in 1979. I watched this on my big 4K TV, and it looked like it could have been released a few years ago.
Yeah,
it looks that good.
Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful, but in like quite a dark, creepy way, obviously.
Would you? Is this in your top 10, top 5? Do you have a top 10 or top 5?
It's definitely in the top 10, but top 5, I'm not sure.
Okay, cool.
I will say on this, so I just watched this last night, and something that I got from this rewatch that I haven't before is kind of an appreciation of how scary this film is. Even though I've seen it before, there was just moments where I was like, I can't imagine seeing this in the 70s. People must have been scared shitless. Especially like the chest burster scene. I've seen it so many times, but oh my God, that always sends shivers down my spine. Just like, what a violation that feels like. It's spine tingling. But yeah.
And apparently, I mean, I heard that while making the film, I don't think so. Ridley kept that chest burst as a surprise to the other actors.
Yes, I've read this as well.
Yeah. So they knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know the prosthetics that were attached underneath that was going to create the explosion. So I do
Those
wonder...
reactions were like pretty legit.
They were like, if that was like take one reactions. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. Uh,
And in that chestburster scene, like one of the crew members, let me just try and get her name quickly. Obviously they're all screaming and they're all like, "What the fuck's going on?" But um, Veronica Cartwright, who plays Lambert, there's like a
mm,
really distinct moment where she goes like, "Oh my god," when it happens, and like that
mm, mm.
that sound snippet is really like imprinted on my brain. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible, but also awesome at the same time somehow.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so you love it. All right, so
Yes,
that's perfect.
yes.
Hannah, what about you? What are your thoughts on, or what's your relationship to it? Had you seen it before?
Yes, I had definitely seen it before. I can't quite pinpoint when. It honestly feels like it's just been woven into my life. From
Mm.
early on. I've loved drawing creatures since I was really young. And when I look back at some of the things when I was around 12, 13 years old, a lot of it will have that very distinct xenomorph head shape. And I love things with fangs. So I know the visuals came into my life quite early, and we were a big Blockbuster family. I don't know if you guys know what Blockbuster is.
Yeah, oh,
But
fuck yeah, yeah.
yeah, and the poster for Alien probably just available there, and then on the VHS when you would take them home, that like the paper version of it having that
Yeah.
around. I recall, um, but it's similar to Luke. It's always sort of been a part, and it's definitely one of my all-time favorites. It's definitely one of my favorite science fiction films. So there is, I don't know. I feel like save some things for later.
Yeah,
But
sure,
yeah,
sure.
that's my
Oh,
relationship.
amazing. Okay, so both of you, yeah, growing up with this, it sounds like since a young age, have adored it for many years. That's great. I
Yeah.
personally, I'm so glad you picked it, Luke, because I actually wasn't too familiar with Alien. I'd seen it
Okay.
once before, so this was my second time watching it, but my first time watching it properly, like actually focusing on it. Because the first time I watched it, I was forced to, and it was actually at a when I was in acting school in New York.
Okay.
Every Monday night they had film night, and they would be like, "We need to show you the important films for you young actors to familiarize yourself with." So this was one of the films they screened. I don't remember many others. I remember they did Casablanca. I remember they did The Graduate, and I remember they did this.
Okay.
Uh, but it was like a half concentrated kind of screening because I was towards the back. It's a room full of you know disinterested actors, watching this projected onto a wall, so it wasn't the greatest quality, and we're thinking about who we've got a crush on. We're thinking about how many lines we have to learn for the next day and the projects we have to,
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So I just remember thinking, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's a vibe. It's all right.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
So watching it this time, on Disney Plus, just me and my television in my room, different experience. It was like
For
watching it
sure.
for the first time, you
Yeah,
know?
I can imagine.
So, and it's fucking good. Yeah, it's good.
It is fucking good. Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. So then let's do our thing and let's go through our cast and
Yes.
crew, which will give us an opportunity to talk about those aspects of the film. We can start with. I mean, there's a few things we can, really look at. I mean, it's just to say, production designer is Michael Seymour. Editor is Terry Rawlings and Peter Weatherly. Cinematographer is Derek Van Lint. All exceptional work. I mean, even more below that, just across the board. The credits and
Yeah.
their work on this is exceptional. But to start with composer, it's Jerry Goldsmith, the Jerry Goldsmith,
The one and
uh,
only.
the one and only, fucking amazing, one of the greatest of all time. Uh, yeah, his
I'm very
credits.
curious to hear how you think this score stacks up compared
Well,
to like the rest of his repertoire, I guess.
exactly. So I was actually a little disappointed
Okay.
because I know Goldsmith and he can do the big, right? And he can do the memorable. And
Yes.
this wasn't, I was surprised at how there's no real theme for
Hmm.
Alien. Nothing that stands out, nothing that's memorable whatsoever. And it's very atmospheric a lot
Hmm.
of times. And however, it's a good score because it goes well with the movie. It goes well with what you're seeing on screen,
Yeah,
right?
it does exactly what it needs to do. I agree with you that it's not. You don't come out of this humming any theme, or there's no earworms in
Right.
this score,
Right.
at least compared to like what we know from the rest of Goldsmith's work. But
Right,
in terms of
exactly.
building that atmosphere incredibly well, I think it does an absolutely incredible job. And also, generally the film relies on silence quite a lot, which is very
Mm.
much to its credit. So
Yes.
for me, it's not really an issue that it's kind of a bit more lackluster in that area.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it too, and I was thinking, well, at the time that this came out, which was what, 1979, this was released,
Yeah.
I'm sure they weren't thinking that this was going to be a franchise that exists for the next 40
Yeah.
plus years.
Hmm.
They probably thought this was a one and done. So then why would you create this iconic theme if it's just a self-contained film? Who's to
Yeah.
say we were ever going to see these aliens ever again?
Hmm.
So yeah, I was, so on the one hand I was disappointed that I don't have a new album to listen to with an amazing Goldsmith score. But yeah, like you said, Luke, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't need to be. And I think I need to start reminding myself that not every score has to deliver, like you said, earworms. It
Yeah.
just has to fit what we're seeing on screen, and that's it. They've done their job.
It heightens the tension, it builds the atmosphere, and I guess this is more like the sound editing. It provides the breaks it needs to really create the tension with the silence. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's solid.
Yeah, and I heard that there was even some behind the scenes friction between Goldsmith and Scott and the producers. Apparently they really chopped up his score and like mixed it around, so even placed it in moments that he didn't even intend for there to be music to.
Oh, okay.
The temporary music, that they call temp music that they used initially,
Hmm.
when editing the film, they actually kept some of the temp music in. They liked it so much. So in the end, and this is all stuff that I've read, books and such, but from what I'd read, Goldsmith wasn't happy ultimately with what was put on screen. But then down the lines, Ridley Scott came out and said it's fucking amazing what he did and everything like that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, but at the time, I think there was a bit of fiddling around.
Interesting.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah, because I look at it and I think, how could you fiddle with, like, it seems so perfectly placed
Perfect. Yes.
everywhere it is.
It seems very purposeful, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
With anything like
Um,
that, I always want to know the original pairing, especially for sound. If sound's getting chopped up, I remember hearing that before too, Chris, that they used some of the temp music before. And I feel, I don't know if as an artist, if you've created something mindfully and then it got chopped up afterwards. But alas, I mean, maybe they did it a service and maybe it wasn't a disservice, but it seems like we won't know.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Yeah, you're so right. These stories, I think about the time in Film Club where we spoke about Arrival and
Yes.
and who
y-
scored that? Was it Johan Johansson?
yeah, I think so.
And how, like, for their big emotional moment of the movie, they just
The
used the Max Richter
On the Nature of Daylight.
song on the
Yeah.
nature of daylight. And I just, as a composer, I imagine you'd be like, fucking hell, like, you've trusted me the entire movie, and then you just didn't let me have my moment here.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
good.
all right. So producers, I mean, there's one, two, three, four producers, like main producers, and you know, I don't know. they're big producers, I guess. So there's no point going through all of them. But the one name that does stand out to me as one of the main producers of the movie is Walter Hill, who was a massive film director. He did
Oh
48
yeah.
Hours. He did The Warriors. Um, he
He's also
did.
been on this franchise all the way through, pretty much.
He produced it.
Yeah, up until Alien Romulus.
What? Oh
Wow.
my
Wow,
word!
committed.
I would have told you he was dead. I had no idea he was still. What?
In fact, the only one of the franchise he hasn't been on is Aliens, so the James Cameron one.
Oh, that's
The
crazy.
okay. Wow.
The second
Oh,
one.
dude,
Okay.
he was. He was the producer of Aliens.
Was he?
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Is there differing?
It must be different on Letterboxd, maybe.
Okay. Oh, on IMDb, he's popped up straight away. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, but that's very cool. Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I didn't even notice his name in the credits. But Walter Hill, that would have stood out to me. But that's very very cool. Yeah, he's a great director. So cool.
Yeah.
What, you looking at his credits?
Yeah, the Warriors.
Yeah, man.
Love them. Very cool. I didn't even recognize the name.
Yeah. I will always remember him for those 48 Hours movies and another 48.
Oh
I
yeah.
just fucking love those so much. Yeah. Um, oh yeah, and then he did a recent film, Bullet to the Head, with Sylvester Stallone. Friend of mine at work loves it. It's probably not good, but he loves this kind of film.
Probably.
All right. When you get to the cast of this movie, it is
Pretty thin.
stacked. Dude, it
But
is.
stacked. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's a small cast, but every single one is like a powerhouse character actor.
Yeah.
It was amazing watching them. But I'll be honest, I didn't really know who Tom Skerritt was, who plays Dallas.
Oh, Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of got a familiar face, but I'm not too sure I've seen anything else he's been in. It says he's been in Top Gun, but I wouldn't know who.
Right. He
Same.
plays Viper apparently in Top Gun.
Oh
Do you
yeah.
know, I heard Tom Skerritt, and the only thing I could think of is there was a South Park episode once, and Cartman is looking at the TV, and there's like, I don't know, it was like a picture of something of like a turd or something like that, and then he goes, "Looks like Tom Skerritt." And I'll always remember, like, always remember going, ha, as a kid, going, that's funny. It's like, but like not getting it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
even know who Tom, but every time now I hear his name, unfortunately, it's linked to that awful joke from South Park.
Oh, bummer.
Uh, but the guy has credits. Yeah. Contact, Top
Hmm.
Gun, MASH. Yeah. So I guess he was a fairly big actor. He won an Emmy, so he did a lot of TV. He won an Emmy for Picket Fences, which ran from 92 to 96. And that's kind of it. Yeah, Golden Globe nomination for that show as well. Either way, I liked him. I
I
liked
thought
him
he
a
was
lot.
great. I
Yeah,
thought he was really great.
yeah.
Curious that, guys, I know that it is essentially a stacked cast, but in 79, was it a stacked cast? I'm assuming no. I'm assuming
That's
this
a
is
great
probably
point.
one of the bigger things that put them on the line. I mean, Sigourney Weaver was only 29 when she filmed this.
I think this was her first like feature length film, wasn't it? She had been working on Broadway prior to this. I think this was
Yeah.
like her first big film.
And
Oh,
if I understand
really?
it too, Ripley was written as a man originally, and she pushed for herself to
Oh.
be considered. I'm not misremembering that.
Yeah, because she won or she was nominated or won for like a BAFTA for like best newcomer off of this film.
It's phenomenal.
That's very cool. Yeah. So Sigourney Weaver, I mean, she's got some credits here, but I guess they are all very small, very tiny. And two of those credits, she is known as Pepsi model. I mean, that's probably just a Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
And Alvy's date outside theatre, and that's Annie Hall. So like
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Alvy's date outside theater. So the guy she's on a date with has a character name and she doesn't. But yeah, I guess this is the first massive break that she gets, and she's gorgeous in this. I was like, Sigourney. I mean, she's one of those actors that I always just like, I guess like Morgan Freeman or whatever. They've been around so long. I always just associate them as, even when I was young, they were still older than me, you know, so they're just always just older. But she's so young and she's so stunning as well. I was shocked by that. She's fantastic. Veronica Cartwright, as you mentioned earlier, Luke, she was so recognizable to me as well. I remember her face. She's British.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I had to look up where I knew her from, and it was actually from.
Sigourney is British?
No, Veronica
Veronica
Cartwright.
Cartwright.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Lambert or something.
how
Lambert,
could you?
yeah.
Okay.
Mind blown. Yeah, did you see where you remember her
It's
from?
from. So she played, like, when she was a lot younger, she was in The Birds, Hitchcock's Birds,
Right.
which I used to watch quite a lot. But
Right. Yeah, I just saw that now. That just popped up for me. Yeah. The Witches of Eastwick, Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978. Apparently, she was recently in that TV show A Man on the Inside with Ted Danson that's on Netflix, which I kind of liked. I watched it, but can't remember. Yeah, she has worked, and continues to work until this day, which is so awesome for her. And then we have Harry Dean Stanton, man. I mean, Harry Dean Stanton being like one of the engineers alongside Yaphet Kotto was just fucking amazing.
yeah,
I love that pairing so much. I love how there's like a battle of class on this ship. They're constantly fighting for a raise and fighting for, we're owed more. And how they just fuck with the other people as well. Like when they crash land on that planet, and I love that moment where she's like, Sigourney Weaver, Ripley's like speaking to them through the comms and is like, so tell me, what's it looking like? What's it? Okay, I'm on my way down. And Yaphet Kotto's like, she's on her way down. What's she going to do? Yeah.
As long as she doesn't get my way. It's so good.
And also, like, doesn't she come down and there's all this, like, this steam. And the moment she turns and leaves, they just, like, turn a valve and the steam just kind of shuts off. Don't they just do that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And, Harry Dean Stanton, obviously being one of the greatest character actors of all time. I don't think he ever won anything. No, he never won an Oscar or anything like that. But just an amazing face and just incredible. Yeah, and then we have John Hurt. Fucking love John Hurt. John Hurt was the Elephant Man, right? Yes. John Merrick in The Elephant Man.
I have not seen it.
It's a good film. David Lynch's Elephant Man, yeah.
I love John Hurt, though. I think he's an incredible actor.
He's great. Again, another amazing face. And he's young in this too, right?
Yeah,
he's
it's
like
striking
39.
to see him so young.
Huh?
It's so striking to see him young.
It truly, yeah. So striking to see him young.
And, he does such a good job, even in like the pretty minor... Well, it's not really a minor role, but like obviously he dies pretty early on in the film, but he does such a good job. Like his performance is so visceral and physical.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Like, I buy it. I buy that this thing is trying to claw its way out of his body.
100%. And it actually, he don't know how he does it, Luke. Exactly what you're saying, but with the limited, I guess, kind of screen time he has, when it seemed as if he's sort of come out of it, and. Whew, that was a close one. And they're all sitting around the table eating. This is the fucking chestburster scene. And what actually is really sad and tragic about that moment is he genuinely seems himself. And he starts talking about, I can't wait to like eat this when we get back home, and I could eat. See, he's having a laugh, he's smiling, and then his body just reacts, and it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Scary.
And scary. Yeah.
I was so hyper focused
I
on what he was eating. Could you were either of you paying attention? I feel like the spoon was so small and it's like these stringy bits, and I was like, oh, it's just a precursor for what's about to happen. And I couldn't get it out of my mind. Watch it. I was like, I don't remember. I was like, does he spit anything out again? When you've already seen it once. But
yeah. I love the way the moment he starts to react, and then it gets worse and worse. And yeah, like you were saying, the physical performance and the agony. I love how the movement of everybody around the table, except for Ian Holm, just studying,
just observing, letting things happen, calculated, cold and calculated.
Right, which leads us on to Ian fucking Holm, man. Ash.
And at this point, he was already very established.
Was he? Okay,
yeah, it says
so
he'd already been in 20 films by this point.
Wow.
He was the get, I'm assuming, then, for that.
Yeah, and also a major theatre actor as well. He graced the stage. Yeah, I know that much about him. So when this film came out in 1979 and you went to the cinema and you sat and you watched this film, the reveal that he's a robot was a genuine surprise, right? You're not meant to know that whatsoever until that reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, we are at a point now where there is so much alien in our lives, and
we can tell.
Yeah,
it's such
especially with Prometheus. You know that you're gonna get an android.
100%. And did you both watch Alien Romulus, the recent Fede Alvarez film?
Yes, and he makes a little cameo.
Oh, okay.
I'll say, please hold.
Sorry.
That's okay, that's fine. Just because when you recommended doing this for the PCP podcast, I was like, perfect, because this will set me on the track to watch straight through to get to Romulus. It was like, it feels off to not start from the beginning for me.
Well, then, great. So, please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts. Because there's a certain aspect of that movie I'd love to talk about with you when you get to it. But he's brilliant. I have an Ian Holm story for you. So I met the guy once, and it was working front of house at the Harold Pinter Theatre. Have I told you this story?
I know it, but
you know,
it's a good story.
Yeah, and I was on the doors, so I was checking tickets, and this way, you go here. I can't remember what they were showing, some Pinter play, And actually, when you walk through the Harold Pinter Theatre, you go up the stairs and everything. There's like posters everywhere of all the theatre productions that theatre's ever held, and Ian Holm is in a lot of them, right? Because he was the actor there. And anyway, I'm on the doors, and then this woman comes to the door, and she's pushing a really old man in a wheelchair. So we had to get out the ramp because there's a step. So we got out the ramp, and she pushed him. And this person was like cowered and like really scrunched down in the chair, a hat on his head, and so she pushed them through. She gave me the tickets, and they had lounge vouchers, right? So they had like a nice VIP treatment and then a nice box to sit in. So I was like, oh, okay, you're going to go here. And I think there was someone else on the door with me. So I was like, let me take you to where you need to go. So I start escorting them. And sorry, fucking planes and helicopters. There's like the FBI is just hanging around here this evening. Fuck's sake. Anyway, so I take them to the door, and I show them where they need to go. And I said, all right, you're just through here. Have a lovely evening. Enjoy the show. And the woman turned to me and she said, do you know who that is? And I went, no. And she said, this is, that's Ian Holm. I went, what? And she's telling me this. I didn't offer, she's volunteering this information to me. I went, that's Ian Holm? She said, yeah. I went, oh my God. I said, that's amazing. I said, what an honor to have him here. And she said, tell him that. Tell him. And oh my God. And I was just like, oh my, she was talking to me as if like he was a child, like he was having a bad day, you know? Tell him,
Yeah.
tell him. So I knelt down to him and I just to the side of his face and I said, Mr. Holm, I said, I just want to say it's such a pleasure having you here with us this evening. I hope you enjoy the show. And he was just kind of, just nodded and muttered something. And I didn't even, I'm right next to his face and I didn't recognize him. Didn't know. He was unrecognizable. He's so old.
Crazy.
So they wheeled him in and they watched, she must have been his carer or whatever, and they watched the show. Anyway, end of the show now. I'm back on the doors. They're coming out and I get out the ramp and she pushes him down the ramp and she's on the street. And I right before I put the ramp up, I crouched down on my knees and I said, Mr. Holm, and I reached my hand out to shake his hand. And he just looked up at me and I said, I just want to say, honestly, it's been such a pleasure to have you. Get home safe. I hope you enjoyed the show and we hope to see you again here soon. And he reached up and he took my hand and he looked in my eyes. And then I was like, oh, it's Ian Holm. For the first fucking time, I recognized him as soon as he looked at me. And he just went, thank you. Like genuinely, like looking right into my eyes. He said, thank you. And that was it. And
awesome.
I think weeks later, months later, he died.
Oh.
So truly like such an amazing thing to have met him. I mean, and I didn't expect it. And just to have that story and it gets me thinking about a lot, and legacy and aging. And he used to grace that stage. There's pictures of him everywhere, and now he's being wheeled in. He genuinely looked like a prisoner in his own body, but he's still coming to like witness theater, and you know what I mean, and still a part of it. Incredible.
I can't imagine that. Imagine, like, especially your country has such a strong history and legacy for artists and performers to be on the stage. It's it seems to be an incredibly different thing. You hear from a lot of Americans or others who go from films to try to really make it on the stage, to have that presence, to be a part of that community. The theater crew is seeing you come in for rehearsals, you're putting on shows, and then to be so well known, but the cadence of film moving at such a clip that no one could foresee, everybody having 15 minutes of fame. And then now we're honestly, sometimes I feel like the leading ladies normally have the least amount of difference in their faces when everyone's trying to go for the same look. You're only being cast in the same way. And these faces of the 70s and some of them still of the 80s, that really defined cinema and an era in film. To see it go, I just couldn't imagine what that's like. It's phenomenal that he was still going. His caretaker was with him as well, but also just the light, that like it's in a movement, something like you make a connection with his eyes, and then you see the person inside. It's phenomenal.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true what you say there, Hannah. And and it's like it kind of feels like these actors of the stage, it's almost like they ended up in movies by accident. You know what I mean? It's almost like you can almost tell that they never saw themselves as film actors. Ian Holm would probably have been so happy the rest of his life to just tell the stories on the stage, and they get plucked up because of course they fucking should, because a classically trained actor is going to be bonkers on screen. He's going to be amazing. And they end up, like you said, defining a genre. They end up defining an era of filmmaking, and absolutely fucking amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
And he's amazing in this. I mean, he's so fucking good. Amazing.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh my God. So, and a question about his character as well. So we find out that the ship that they have a directive, right, from the company
Yeah.
to harvest or collect a sample of these alien creatures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly.
Yes.
Was
Oh.
that what was it then?
Their directive is if you see a distress signal, you have to go down
Nah,
and
it wasn't.
check it out.
I don't think it
It
was.
isn't?
So that's what it was. That's what it was presented as to the crew. But
I
the
know, but
actual.
you're talking about directive like 976 or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So it says in the film that Ash was replaced as a science officer days before the Nostromo
Right.
was
Mm-hmm.
set to leave, and that's because they already had that distress signal. They already had the Weyland-Yutani Corporation already has the distress signal. They've already decoded it as a warning, and it's the directive of the Nostromo with an Ash's directive to retrieve the alien and take it back to Earth for the corporation.
Oh
Right.
no. Okay.
Right. So they knew there was these alien type things there, or they knew?
I think they did know. They definitely did
You think
know. Yeah.
Wayland knew then? The company.
Wayland, yeah, the company, yeah. So they speak to Mama, who is basically the it's almost like
Ship's
the
AI.
AI
Hey,
of
Mama.
the ship. Yeah, yeah.
Mother, yeah.
Mother. I like Mama.
Oh, was it Mother?
Yeah.
Mother.
Mama. You can tell who's got mama issues on this podcast. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So okay. So he always had the objective. Yeah, which is why he defies Ripley's orders, because Ripley is the smartest one on the whole fucking ship. When she's like, "Not letting you in, motherfuckers."
Yeah, she takes protocol seriously.
Yeah.
One thing about the film that does annoy me a tiny bit is that the characters make stupid as fuck decisions, and where that's most apparent for me is where that after the chest burst, the scenes happen, and we still think they're little aliens running around the place, and they kind of split up into those two teams with those those monitor things that like detect movement, and then they get Jonesy, they get the cat, they find the cat, and they
fucking Jonesy.
They let the cat run off, and then they tell Brett, Harry Dean Stanton's character, to just go off on his own to find it.
Yeah.
That's not like, come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. So here's the thing. I disagree in that everyone makes dumb decisions. This is actually one of the things that I loved about the film, is I was kind of like, I can see how everyone would get to this choice here.
Stage?
This is, yeah, like, that's actually a massive pet peeve of mine, is watching films and actors do something just for the sake of plot. And I'm like, this is just done. Like, if you do something that's realistic and I buy it, I'm even more invested, because I'm like, well, I would have done the same thing. Okay, cool, And yeah, I think for the most part in this film, they're all making like really informed, intelligent choices. And that was the one moment where I was like, why are you sending him off alone to look for Jonesy? However, I'll concede them this little point. No one expected that it had grown that fucking big in that short space of time.
That's true, yeah.
So, a genuine surprise. I love the way the tension it's amazing.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, go for it, Hannah.
I was gonna say, I don't know what you have queued up next, but I feel like that's a great moment to. I always think, oh my God, Jodorowsky's failed Dune film for giving them H.R. Geiger and his designs for Xenomorph and for the visuals of everything on that planet inside of Nostromo as well, like that iconic. I don't know how it would have played out had we had any other kind of design, but the death of one film really gave you a lot here.
Oh, I didn't know anything about this. So H.R. Geiger services were being called elsewhere?
Yeah, so he was a Swiss artist, and he worked with Jodorowsky, I think, for like years, 5+ years for sure. Might be just under like 8 when they were visualizing. He was gathering a variety of artists to create his wild, insane version of Dune that he really wanted to make, which never saw broad daylight. I don't think they ever got to. Did they film stuff for it actually?
I don't think it ever got out of pre-production.
Right. Okay. And some of the casting choices was wild in it too. I remember. I don't even remember who it was, the musician that they were casting. I think as the Emperor, but another sci-fi legend, and they got this phenomenal Swiss artist, very stylistic. I mean, the organic look of things. I know that's probably like one of the big things is like the dichotomy between inside the Nostromo, but then when you're out in that extremely hostile planet and the merged carcasses of the engineers and the chairs, it's just like phenomenal visuals. Like I feel like that's one of the most iconic things. Like that's what brings you back.
Yeah.
That's what's on the poster normally. I mean, at least for Alien Covenant, I don't know if you guys had seen the sort of
Yes.
callback to Renaissance
Yeah.
poster that they have. It's gorgeous. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yes, it's a great poster. Just a shame it's a bad film.
What was Renaissance? The third one?
It wasn't called Renaissance. It's just the image here. Let me drop it.
Yeah, it's like Renaissance style.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this gorgeous, like, it looks like everything's carved out of stone. And you have these xenomorphs who are destroying all these engineers. I can't add it into the chat, I don't think, but gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, send it after maybe, and
I will.
I really want to have a look at it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it is the design of it is it's incredible. You know, like when they lower John Hurt even like further into that massive like antechamber where he discovers the eggs. Look at the size of the fucking place.
I know.
Oh my word.
It's creepy as hell, man. It's creepy as hell.
It's so creepy. And what I love about the film is it suggests again a whole story and a whole mythology and a whole backstory to this entire event, which of course now we are just completely chipping away at and jumping into, and now it's about the prequel to Alien and all of that stuff. And I personally love the mystery of it. It suggests.
Same.
I don't need it to be explained to me. Yeah.
I think
I know.
I wanted to get onto this at some point. Might as well touch on this now, but I really hate where this. I know it's a bit of like a cliche thing to say, but I really hate where this franchise went in terms of how it ruined not just, like you said, the mystery of the first film, but even just like the embodiment of the xenomorph. Because I don't want to get into spoilers for Alien Romulus, but in this film, the xenomorph is a powerhouse. This xenomorph is picking off this crew one by one.
Yeah.
It's smart, it's powerful, it's deadly, it's a force to be reckoned with. Just this one xenomorph, this one young xenomorph, right? And having the xenomorph like that is so much more impactful, so much scarier, so much more interesting than where the franchise took it. Where we have in the later films, just with a machine gun, them spraying hordes of xenomorphs down.
Right.
Oh, does that happen in Romulus?
It does. Yes, it does. When they're floating in the zero gravity, and it's just. Even though I kind of do still enjoy Alien, I quite like Alien Romulus, and I still enjoy it for the sci-fi, for the action. But it does a massive discredit to the amazing work of this film.
That is such a great point, man. That is such a great point.
I think we should continue. I want to continue having conversations then about the different iterations of the films and the xenomorphs.
I do too.
Minus Predator. I don't. I'm not in for the mergings of them. In some moments in my life, I am, but I am. Why, you guys love it?
The first one's a bit of a guilty pleasure.
Never seen it.
I don't know. I've only seen one Predator film. I've never even seen the originals, and I don't want to get off topic, but
You haven't
when I
seen
watched,
Predator? Sorry, you
no,
haven't seen Predator.
no, I have not.
That's
I've only
that's
seen
going to
the
change.
Predator that
That's
came out
going
like
to
3 years
change.
ago.
Predator 2 as well. Predator 2 is one of the most underrated sequels ever.
I heard it's good. Never saw
I
it.
It's good.
I'll check
Basically,
it.
take the first Predator film, which is fucking
Put it-
amazing,
put him in
and
LA.
put it in the fucking gangland of LA. Like, it's only gonna be good.
Okay. But the Predator versus Alien, you guys enjoy those? Have you seen those?
Never
They're
seen
bad. They're bad. They're bad.
Okay, I have not. So that's why I do not consider it part of when I say I'm going through all the Alien films, those are not included.
it. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
fair.
yeah. I would. If I was going through Alien, I'd exclude those as well. Yeah.
I do kind of like that they're in the same universe.
That
But-
is phenomenal.
I do too.
I love that concept. For
Yeah,
sure.
I do too.
Instead of it
but
just
you're
being
right.
humans and xenomorphs.
Oh, by the way, Hannah, that picture's. I have seen that, and that's an
It's awesome.
amazing.
I have that poster. It's my favorite.
Really?
I do. That I was still working at the theater when that came out. So that's one that I
It's so
Yeah,
cool.
that
It's
is
beautiful.
very fucking cool. Yes, it is.
yeah. It's
And what you're saying to this just being an original, yeah, Luke, that is it. I mean, the xenomorph is so formidable. And the discovery of what it can do each step of the way, just like when they're trying to cut the that creature off of the face, the face hugger,
digit.
Yeah.
and just the way it completely tightens around the neck, and then they try and cut it, and then they realize the blood is acid that can punch through levels of the entire ship. I mean, wow. Do you know what I also really appreciated? That they don't, talking about dumb decisions, when they finally get to where it's like the final bit of acid, where it stops, and they're looking at it, and then someone says, "Don't get onto it, don't get onto it."
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, that sounds,
It's obviously Lambert.
yeah, it sounds, like you don't have to say it, but looking at later movies as well, I guess you do.
Yeah.
I love the poking with the pen. I love when they hand the pen back. Dallas gives it back to him, and he's like,
Yeah.
the comedy in those moments is great.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's it's perfection. I mean, even down to Ash giving a call to Dallas and saying, "You need to get down to the medic room." Why? Is it serious?
I was like, you
Just
should just see it.
interesting. Okay, and they get there and it's fucking gone. You know, I was like, this is amazing. This is
I was thinking
amazing. Yeah. What?
Oh, I was thinking of when he calls them back down. He's like, it's just easier if you come down to see it, and it's Kane awake. What?
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
like, I forgot that happens to him, because I was like, wait a second. I like scrambled the events in my mind from the last time I had seen it to this morning. I rewatched it this morning.
Yeah, it's so gripping, right?
Yeah.
It's so like moment to
Also,
moment.
To what Luke was saying, anyways, but like the perfection of the xenomorph here, and all the other different ways I think that they keep stretching and thinning out the potency of that design and that species and all of the creature mythology behind it. But I love when Ash says, talks about the perfection. What he envies is the perfection of that thing. It does not exist. It is not like bogged down by delusions of morality. Come on. That beautiful line, the simplicity of how they had Ash describe, one, he's inhuman. He, of course, not even just because of directive, but as an inhuman thing, to be able to not be bogged down by directives of any sort, sees an organic creature that moves of its own volition with it's just phenomenal. Like the different layers to after discovering that Ash is an android. Phenomenal. And and also just when I think of all the characters where, like we love Brett, we love Parker, and how they give us that comedy relief, the different layers of human expression and how people panic in a situation exhibited by everybody else. The fact that every following film they try to amp those up, and they're always looking for like a comedy guy, a sarcastic, and I feel like that's the hokiest part
Yeah.
of them pushing it forward and watering things down instead of creating for us characters that have a reason for making the decisions that they make, and making them just solid in that way, and put them in the environment that they do. But I feel like they built it on the outside in, and it doesn't work
Oh, fucking hell, that's
in other
perfect. Yeah,
films.
that's
But it's gorgeous. And also,
perfectly.
clocking the silence of the beginning, I forgot how
Ooh.
long it is. They
Oh,
show
the
Yeah.
opening of this film is incredible.
they show
Just the
you all the
camera panning
carnage.
through the ship. Oh,
Yes, it's honestly like going through a crypt, and you don't know it yet. It's just this gorgeous everything about it, the silence, to see them waking up, phenomenal. And then at one point, because like if we had a map of this, but sonically, like audio wise, of like the pure silence, the introductive moments of humanity and stuff like that, and then the punctuations of loud chaos and violence throughout.
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal crescendo.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh.
gorgeous in that way. I love this
Shit,
film.
you guys you're making me appreciate it even more now. Like, it's on a whole other level.
I found this review on Letterboxd, and I think it's amazing. So
Go for it.
You remember Ash's quote from the film where he says, "You still don't understand what you're dealing with, do you? A perfect organism. Its structural perfection is matched only by its hostility." And then the line after that, they've just written, "Sometimes a movie provides its own review."
Oh, I love these Letterboxd reviews. They're fucking awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's incredible. I mean, even like when Ash flips out and he attacks Ripley's getting fucked
up yeah.
here. And of course, because it's the strength of the thing, when he grabs her hair and she rips herself away, and you just have the close-up of the hair still in his fist. Oh my word. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Also,
so
the violence of him tightening up like a workbook to shove it down her throat. Come on, they don't do violence like that.
Savage.
That is so visceral.
I honestly thought, right, I was like, okay, what's he doing with the magazine here? I thought he was going to swat her head like very bad. When he went to, ram it down her throat. Oh my God, yeah.
It's so crazy.
Was it Dallas that showed up and fucking takes his head off with the fire extinguisher or something?
No, Dallas is dead at this point, I think. Yeah.
It's Parker, yeah. Parker comes in, he gets half his shirt torn off, and then Lambert is trying to smack it in the head. Also, the only failure not exactly failure, but like the one moment that they couldn't make so perfect where I wouldn't be able... What is it? I don't know how to talk anymore. When we have Ash's head decapitated, and then just the moment that they finally have to cut between the prosthetic and the actor's head in the table. Yeah. That's the only moment. That's the only moment in the entire film that lets me know, it was a thing. Everything else, perfection.
Yeah, but you know what? To that, I actually loved it. I loved it because I was like, "Ooh, yeah." There's the prosthetic, and there's Ian Holm on his knees pushing his head through a table, and I was like, "That's filmmaking." Yeah,
I love the.
I really loved that. Yeah. Cool.
Also,
and
you
so
have my
the
sympathies. Oh, sorry.
What's that?
Yes. Right after Lucas's line, yeah.
They ask him, right, like, what do they say? What are our chances, or something like that, of survival?
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then he says,
something
you
around
have
that,
my sympathies. Yeah.
He's just talking to Ripley at that point. Like, you don't know what you're up against. You have my sympathies. Smile.
Smile. Yeah. Amazing. Honestly, amazing. And for such a stacked cast, Ian Holm maybe he was fortunate in the role that he was given, but boy, does he run away with that role and steals the movie. Steals it.
Agree.
And then the only other character actor we have is Yaphet Kotto, who I fucking love.
We know him from Live and Let Die, don't we?
We know him from Live and Let Die, yeah. The Kananga in that movie. He was just in like the best films in the 70s, 80s, Midnight Run, The Running Man. Just an amazing character, an amazing face. And he just, he fits this crew so well. And even the way he goes out in the end, I mean, it's so heroic and it's so tragic. And each death in this movie, I'm like, I mean,
there's weight behind it.
There's weight behind it. There's truly, and that's so much credit. I don't know what else to say about him. The other character of note that's not listed here in IMDb is Jonesy, and I heard that he was a dickhead on set.
Really?
Oh,
yeah,
he's a ginger cat. I have a half ginger. He's wild.
Yeah,
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, apparently he was really difficult to work with.
Oh, really?
Also, but I'll say to that, who takes their cat on a fucking spaceship and puts the cat into cryo sleep? That's a bit.
I'm here for
it. A bit much.
I was gonna say no. I don't know. I can't explain really. I'm glad that you brought this up because I've never thought about this so seriously before. But this time around, probably because I have cats now, but there's an element of humans and another life form and an animal life form. That's all we're used to one degree. There's also this idea of comfort of having something that you understand what its reactions are going to be. It's going to hiss when there's danger, yada, yada. It's kind of like, it kind of serves as a canary almost, but it's always kind of saving itself that you don't really know. So you don't know where it is. But I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of it is, but it does give it kind of more of like the feel of, can you see how dark it got in my apartment? Sorry.
Super dark. Yeah.
It's now storming. We've been having these like bipolar days. It was, as I said, 33 Celsius earlier, still that hot, and now it's like thundering here.
Damn, yeah, it looks like it's...
We're going into the planet. LV, whatever. I wonder about that cat. Sorry, I didn't have anything intelligent to say about the cat besides the level of comfort and also the ability to care for something on there. It's just so funny to have like a worker ship and they like collect iron or ore or whatever it is. They're like, we need a pet. We need to keep these people because with humans you can hate humans, and I think you need an animal there to offset the different personalities and have, something you don't fucking viscerally hate on the ship.
That's amazing, actually. Yeah, because I never really thought about that either. Now that you mention it,
it's so sterile. Otherwise, it's people with directing.
Yeah, because they used to take cats on ships all the time, right? But that's for mice. I don't think there's any mice running around in space.
Yeah,
that's so funny. You went way back to ships, like wooden ships.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Also, having another creature that's not human but is adored by one, and there's actually, remember that amazing shot where I think Ripley puts the cat into that, is it like a container or something? Mm-hmm. And she leaves it there, and then the xenomorph comes and you just see that shot of it opening its mouth while the cat's just staring at the thing, but then doesn't do anything to the cat, like can't. Huh?
I love that shot when, I think it's when Brett gets, not that one, maybe I'm thinking of a different one, but when Brett goes down to look for the cat, finds the cat, and then we see the light action happen in the cat's face. You can't really see shapes or anything, but you just, and I love the fact, one, that they even got that shot of the scared cat there. Mm-hmm. But I loved that. Like, it wasn't, human eyes still hadn't seen another like destroyed human yet. I don't know. It's right.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. You know what? The cat kind of reminds me of Ash in that moment. It's almost like this cold sort of like distance, just observation of this completely horrific moment happening. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool. Um,
One
and
of one of my favorite shots was actually the death of Lambert,
remind
or
me.
Lambert and Parker, and we have Lambert and she like turns around and looks scared, and we just see the silhouette of the xenomorph, its shadow.
Mm.
Oh, that's cool. So
Mm.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Ridley Scott is firing in this movie. There are probably so many images, yeah, that come to
Yeah.
mind. Actually, I've got to say, the one with the cat was really, and the xenomorph sort of bearing its fangs at it was incredible. It's kind of like Jurassic Park esque, Spielberg
Mm.
kind of thing. The T Rex through the jeep, at the yeah.
True.
Oh,
It
yeah.
kind of had that vibe to it. Uh, yeah, and the movie's written by Dan O'Bannon, and Dan O'Bannon is clearly like he was a sci-fi guy. The first film he ever wrote was Dark Star, which was a John Carpenter movie from 1974. I've heard about it, and it's also starring Dan O'Bannon. So I didn't realize he was an actor as well. Actually, on Tarantino's podcast, they spoke about this movie. I'd like to see it. I don't know if it's any good.
Looks a bit goofy, but I do want to see it.
I hear it's a bit goofy. Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
got that kind of thing. But you look at the other. I mean, some of the films I've never heard of: Phobia, Dead and Buried, Heavy Metal, Blue Thunder. I don't even know what Blue Thunder is, but that's Roy Scheider, Daniel Stern, which is super fucking cool. Directed by John Badham. John Badham's a very cool fucking director.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, Dan O'Bannon just had some interesting films. Life Force. I've heard of Life Force. Invaders from Mars. He wrote Total Recall, the original Total Recall. And that's probably, for me at least, that's probably the biggest film he wrote after Alien.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I don't know if he died or if he's still alive. He died. He died in 2009. But yeah, he was absolutely Mr. Sci-Fi
Mm.
in the 80s. Um, and then yeah, you have the films directed by Ridley Scott. Do we need to say any more about Ridley Scott? Probably not. Just that he's probably one of the greatest imports, to Hollywood from this country. He's one of
That's for
England's
sure.
greatest products. One of the greatest living filmmakers out there, that's for sure.
And
What is he
just a
now?
And
80
testament to like, yeah. So
mm,
he's still pushing out movies today, and he was 42 when this came out.
oh
It's never
my
too
word.
late.
Oh my word. It's never too late.
I
42.
love
I didn't know
that.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
so
had
rad.
no idea. And it's his second film. Yeah, after The
Okay.
Duelists, which I never saw.
Hmm.
Oh,
But I really want to. Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. I loved his brother Tony Scott. I think he made some really cool movies, but they're both completely different filmmakers.
Mhm.
And yeah, me and Luke went to see Gladiator live in concert recently at the Royal Albert Hall, and
That was
you could.
awesome.
That was amazing. You could make a case for that being his best movie, but then maybe this is. I don't know. What's his best film?
I I will confidently say it's Alien, but
Okay,
uh,
yeah.
pretty
there's a
sure
lot
it's
of
House of
contenders.
Gucci. No, Alien. Are you? There's no joke about it. It's Alien for me, at least.
Yeah, I
But I'm a
mean,
big Blade
I
Runner
have
person, so
Oh yeah, Blade
tet
Runner.
tet tet.
Blade Runner as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Okay. It's tough. I don't know. I don't think I could confidently speak any more on that. I don't have a clue. I'd have to think on that one long and hard. But this is definitely a contender now that I've watched Alien properly. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, that's the movie.
Awesome.
Do you have any other thoughts on it that we haven't touched on?
Mm, no, not from
I'll
me.
say Sigourney Weaver then for me became the science fiction fantasy queen. You know, she's in Ghostbusters, she's in Avatar, she's in Alien. She's in a few other things that are adjacent. And then for me, Saldana, or no, Zoe Saldana took over the mantle because she's in more sci-fi, Star Trek,
Oh yeah.
Avatar,
True.
Guardians of the Galaxy. She ends up taking over as a queen of space. But one, so thankful for female action star that, like, I can't even, sometimes I was like, oh, is it too sexy that she's like, nope, it's nothing sexy about the end of it. It's so funny to see her butt crack, by the way, at the very end, when I hate the low underwear of the 80s, 70s.
Like,
But
yeah,
I was
why
like,
could they never get the right fitting underwear back then?
I don't know. You know, it's because it's just Wayland issued crew garments.
Yeah.
I love the simplicity of it. Before, I was like, I honestly, probably one of the things that I remember the most when I was really young seeing this, I was like, oh my God, that woman. And before I recognized what my sexuality was, I was like, I'm queer. But I was like, just her in it, sweating, fighting, running around in underwear. But it's all purposeful. I love it. Like, you're truly defenseless almost. But I love the visuals of it. The fact that you feel the humidity of it, the jungle of running through the darker pits of the ship. It's very visceral, being able to have moment and not have any distractions to really, one, watch it on a large screen. I projected it on the wall this morning to rewatch it, and it felt like, honestly, it felt like I was opening a new book to see those set pieces and to watch our camera winding through. It's phenomenal. You do it a disservice if you're on a smaller screen, but
100%, yes,
phenomenal build up.
100%.
I love these characters.
What do you think of the dummy ending?
Dummy?
Yes, with like us thinking that she's safe, just for it to be stowed on the escape ship as well.
Amazing.
Oh!
I mean, I
love it.
I expected that it wasn't over yet. But yeah, the way it's curled up. But you know what's so fucking weird about that as well is she gets near it and it reaches out its claw or some shit and she runs away. And then it's just kind of chilling. It's not like, come here, you fucking... It doesn't come out of like its hiding hole to chase her. It just goes back to just remaining there. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like it was... I don't think... I didn't think so watching it. Was it?
Yeah, just
No.
I can't. No. I don't know. I generally don't. But this time watching it, I was like, could it have been? But it can't be because there's only one guy that comes out. You need one egg, one chest burster, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely the same alien. I don't know if it was maybe like just resting and then because Ripley moved so quickly into like that cabinet with the spacesuit, like you didn't really recognize that she was there.
Yeah, I don't know. But I loved it. And the genuine fear and what's amazing about Sigourney Weaver's performance in that moment is you see the wheels turning in her head, the desperation. She's thinking, what the fuck do I do? And how do I do it? And can I even accomplish it? I mean, it's all happening at once. It's an amazing performance by her, especially in that. Oh, it's incredible.
So good.
I will say what you were saying, Hannah. There's that one moment where you thought, I see like the seams of this, which was the prosthetic head versus Ian Holm's head. For me, the worst moment in the film where it's like, oh, this is 1979 digital effects is the actual explosion of the Nostromo. Which is just like this computer generated, like 80s computer, just like light show. That is like, oh, there we go. This is 79, yeah. But honestly, it cannot take away from the rest of the film. Well, all right. I guess I already know what your ratings are going to be, but let's let's go through it. So, Luke, what would you rate this movie?
Ooh, I had to think long and hard about this. Yeah, definitely a 5. This is as close to perfect movie as I think you can get.
Excellent. Hannah, I'm assuming
Mine
it's the
is
same.
also a 5. Yeah, of course. I
Well,
almost immediately said it in the chat when he dropped the announcement. I'm like, 5,
yeah,
Dana.
yeah. Well, I'll say it's not a 5 for me. However, I would have given it a solid 4 because I really enjoyed it. But I'm going to bump it up. I'm going to bump it up to a 4.5 because your enthusiasm and your insights and for it have really made me value it and appreciate it even more.
Oh, I thought we had a 5 out of 5 there finally.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know what it is that takes away from the 0.5. For me, I guess it has to really hit me on like an emotional level and be moving. And this movie's not that, but it's still fucking great. Yeah. So still
Cool.
4.5. Yeah.
Did you watch this with Carrie Ann?
No. However, she had watched it already like a week before me or something like that.
Okay.
She decided to watch it. Yeah. So yeah, it would have been good. She loved it also.
Nice.
I don't know what she would have rated it, but this is why I wanted her on the call today. Because, yeah, next time.
Nice.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, next film is going to be chosen by Stefan, composer of the podcast and now editor of the podcast as well. And since he couldn't be here to announce it, he's left that to me. So.
Oh, he's chosen already.
He's chosen. Oh, yeah. Oh, I said, please, you need to give me the title so I can announce it on the call. He has gone with the movie Safe from 1995, I believe. Directed by Todd Haynes, starring Julianne Moore. Have you guys seen this film?
No.
Never even heard of it.
Ooh, no one's seen it. Great. Neither have I. I've heard of it. But, yeah, never seen it. I don't know if Stefan has either. So, yeah, I look forward to it then. First time watch for us all. Excellent.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you both. Thank you so much
you.
for doing this and for, expressing your alien love. It's been a blast. And, yeah, I hope to see you both on the next one.
Thanks for having me
Awesome.
again.
Thanks, Chris.
No worries. Thank you for listening, everybody. Music and editing is by Stefan Krieger. You can find more of his music at stefan-krieger.com. And as always, this is a podcast for the Phoenix Cinema. Go and watch a movie at the Phoenix Cinema, and I'll see you there. Bye-bye.